Let's offer our collective pranams at Bhagavan Lotus feet, and we also invite him to join this wonderful satsang today. Swami, you are everything for us. Please guide us, speak through us, always be with us. Jai Sai Ram. Welcome to brothers and sisters and elders and everyone and all. Today we have a very special satsang with a guest speaker, Uncle Rajan Goyal. Uncle was, thank you so much for joining and helping this wonderful satsang to take away a lot of things for, especially for my service coordinators and also all this region 3 members. So Uncle was born in Uganda, grew up and studied in Uganda and Kenya and India also, England. And he did his bachelor's and master's in UK. And right after the studies, Uncle moved to US in 1982. Okay. Now coming back to how Swami he's into, right? Uncle has been Sai devotee since early 1972 when he was in England, and also he was one of the founding members of Sai organization in UK. That was 73 to 75, and Swami instructed him to start a center there in 1981. And after the family migrated to New Jersey in 82, as I said before, and he was served various roles in our Sai organizations as a president and also as a regional president and service coordinator and vice president. So the main part here is an uncle always never say no to it and anything when Swami's services. And he was very on behalf of SSIO, uncle and his auntie Geeta. They were actively involved in many disaster relief efforts since 2001. I can tell you, I can keep talking his way of working in especially on the relief efforts related to the disaster. It's numerous places. So I am not take much time on this one. I wanted you to hear directly from Uncle Rajan Goyal. So to help me out, I have 2 brothers with me. Brother Sai Santosh, he is serving as a service coordinator in Northeast Atlanta, Georgia. And also I have a Gopal Somu, he is from Raleigh, and he finished his certificate and also helping in many occasions. He was able to help, and I think we are going to take a lot of help from him to bring the region 3 get more certified too. So with that note, I'm going to hand over to the panel, Uncle and also Sai Santosh and Gopal. Please take it away. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful satsang. Thank you, Brother Subbu, for that really nice introduction. Sai Ram, Uncle Rajan, how are you? We're very glad that you joined us today. Really excited to hear all the wonderful Swami stories from you. And I know we were having an informal chat, and I was so fascinated by your journey and all the amazing things that you've been doing in the community. And what I wanted to start off today is, as Brother Subbu was saying, you came into Swami's fold in the 70s, and it's very rare to meet people who have come to Swami that early. And you've had, I'm sure, amazing experiences. So what I'm really curious to know is, how did you first hear about Swami? Was it like a book or, some kind of an experience? Or how did you stumble upon Swami in your life? That will be wonderful to hear.
Yeah, my journey actually started way back November 1971, October, November. At that time, I was president of Indian Students Association, in Manchester, Salford, Manchester University. So in Manchester, we have 3 universities, and we used to coordinate sports tournament. So our university, we had very good sporting facilities. So, I took care of that. But the other 2, one university, Manchester University, they took care of accommodation, and UMIS that took care of, the celebrations, the party hardy and all that kind of scenario. So my journey actually basically started. So after this event, we had award ceremony, and then at a local community hall, Gandhi Samaj, hall there, we had celebrations. So there was a lot of dancing and going on, and a lot of alcoholic drink. I mean, the student life, typical student life. And I was not drinking or anything like that. Actually, it just happened that it really struck me at that time that my life meant for this? This is, so this is where the quest started. That, if there is God, I want to meet that God. And so I was inquiring about this, and I was very restless at that time. So one of the acquaintances, took me to Bradford Center, in Manchester. So Bradford Science Center, we went there the first time. As soon as I saw Swami's picture, a thunderbolt-like feeling, came through my heart. And then they also played Swami's bhajans, Swami singing bhajans on this is a gramophone record. And I was crying like anything. I had no idea. So temporarily, Swami removed this veil of Maya, and that was the connection. And so that's when it all started. So I started ordering books, and then I resolved to go to Puttaparthi in 1972. So that's how I got introduced into Swami. So over to you.
That's wonderful. So that's amazing that you had this connection instantly. Like, not everybody gets that. So it must be some really old connection with Swami.
Yes.
So when you started reading the books, what was your perception? Like, I want to go and see him physically, and when did that actually happen?
So earlier, 1972, I started reading books, and actually, since I had a lot of questions, it's all about self, and about God. My grandparents and my parents, they're very profound devotees of Durga Ma, our family deity, and they believe in ritual worship and all that. Somehow that was not really jiving with me, so I had a lot of questions, and whenever I have a strong doubt or a question, and I'm reading Swami's, books, Vahinis, and Satya Sai Speaks and all that. So I find my answers there, and so then I resolved to go to Puttaparthi, and so finally I went in with the Navsari Sai Seva Dal group in 1972 to see Swami. And so that's how, so that very first visit, and it just happened to be Sevadal group. So even in Puttaparthi, I didn't know, I'm 21, 22 years old, a young adult, totally clueless. It's just the 2 things. One was, and if there's God, I want to meet the God, and I wanted a wife. So and it's 2 contradicting things. But like Faiz Muhammad said, if you want instant liberation, get married, and I guess that's that's what it was, So, but anyway, both events, it was a very successful trip. So
That's wonderful. Actually, that reminds me because even I saw Swami, first time as part of the Sevadal group from Gujarat in the late 80s when I was a little kid. So I wanted to ask you, so when you first saw Swami and I'm sure like now this image was right in front of you, right? Popped out from the books that you were reading. And like, what was the interaction? Did Swami talk to you, or was it all, just having darshans,
so
what went on in Purti?
yeah, so in Puttaparthi, what happened was, because we were like a Sevadal group. So at that time, they were constructing Purnachandra Hall and West Prasanthi 1. And also they started digging where the Indian canteen is, the foundation for that. So I was with the Navsari group, and we used to transport, like stand in an assembly line and transport, pebbles and this concrete and bricks and stuff like that in the construction of West Prasanthi 1. So I was in this line, and Swami, always personally and physically would come and check everything that's going on. So I happened to be there, and he just, when I was like transporting, and every time you carry a basket, you say Sairam, and so I'm doing that. So Swami, like just 2 or 3 feet in front of me, he stopped and started looking at me. And when he looked, it was through really very penetrating eyes, it kind of, it went for some time, like at least half a minute or 1 minute. And I kind of started feeling embarrassed, because, feeling started conscious, why Swami is looking at me like that. So I never knew, all these spiritual aspect and all the godly aspects and all that, So as soon as I, he saw that, and then he moved on. But then it is, interestingly enough, we were all the time serving, and the Shura festival started. So at that time, the overseas devotees were allowed to sit in front. So it just happened that I think in the 5th or 6th Dasara festival, again through Seva, so there are a lot of people coughing in the Purnachandra Hall, and it was being constructed. The Swami, came onto the makeshift stage, and so before he came, what had happened was, because since a lot of people were coughing, I felt nobody serving in the front, it was all at the back. So I got up, got a bucket of cough mixture, and I started serving. So everybody, like we had 3-4 rows of all the foreign people there. So started serving them cough mixture, So when I came on the first row, Swami walked in, and he just stopped on the edge of the platform, and he was waiting there. And all of a sudden, I made a 180 turn degrees. My back was originally facing Swami. So as soon as he came, I don't know what happened. I just turned back, went to him, and I said, Swami, I'm going to go to Gujarat for marriage, just like that, So he said, yes, very happy. And he raised his hand over my head, and all the vibhuti fell on me, on my forehead, my face, my shirt, and my pants. You can see a lot of vibhuti fell on me. So, that's how he had acknowledged. And so, interestingly enough, it was through Seva, Swami, blessed me. So, over to you on that. So that's how, that chapter had happened.
Brother Gopal, you had a question?
Sairam, Rajan uncle, it's nice to hear your first seva started in Puttaparthi in front of the beloved Lord. Can you share some of your experiences with the seva activities you have done to the community? And also you can add how you get into the service with your beautiful experiences.
So, so that was the starting point, this seva. So one of the seva, Actually, Swami has been instrumental somehow, either directly or indirectly, guiding me through this. So after I came back from the trip to India in 1973, um, it just happened. I went to Bradford again, and I found out that there were um, celebrations, birthday celebrations all over the first UK, entire UK celebrations in London, at Wembley. So I got the flyer, but I just had gone to Bradford on a business trip for my father, in the evening. So I came late. And interestingly enough, at 2 o'clock in the morning on that birthday, Swami in the dream instructed me to go to London and take my camera there and take pictures of the function and send it to him. So at 2 o'clock, I got up and I took a shower and all that, just told my wife, nobody else. And I went from Manchester suburb by bus to Piccadilly station, and from took a train all the way to Euston, and from Euston took a subway to where the celebrations were, and I reached there on time. So and I had those SLR Minolta camera, good-looking camera, so I started taking pictures. So all these people are wondering who is this person, taking pictures and all that, like gate crashing a party here. So then I introduced myself, and somehow I got involved. So then at that time, Mr. Sitaram, who was the president of the organization, so he just drafted in me in his committee. So we were the initial committee member of the organization. So that's how I got into organization. The second incident, which was even more profound, was obviously in 1975 when I went back again for the World Conference, and this time to do Seva. So at that time, after actually Phil Gosselin and some of the American, so I was stationed with them in the C building, the south building on the sea floor in front of Purnachandra Hall. So that's where I met Phil Gosselin, and then so at that time we were doing Seva, but then Richard Baer, who was coordinating the second World Conference, he said, he gave me a duty. He said, you register and give accommodation to overseas devotees, but non-USA. And Dr. John Hislop, he registered and gave accommodation to USA devotees. So that's how that was the Seva in 75. But then another Seva which really showed me Swami's omnipresence, omniscience, and so this was I visited USA in May 1978. And so I was at my sister's house, and my brother-in-law was looking to apply for mortgage. He was about to purchase a house. He wanted to visit a bank. So one Tuesday morning, Swami in the dream, he told me that you will meet this Thursday an old man, and this old man, you give him whatever you can, monetary wise. So and that dream was over. Thursday came, and we went to the bank, and just watching, if there was after some wait, an old man came, and he went to the teller, and he was looking for some money, and he was disappointed. He didn't have any money in the account, and he was very sad and all that. And immediately I remembered that Swami telling me to give him the money. So as soon as he stepped out, I followed him, and I gave him whatever I had in my pocket, and that was that $10 bill. I gave it to him. So I tried to explain it to him, and it was he didn't understand, but he was so happy, so elated, and I just love that feeling, It was a very blissful moment. And so after that, I started on this seva. And then just to follow that, this was again in UK. I used to get dreams, and in the dream I was these are side dreams where I see I'm at a food workstation, and there's a line, and I see Shirdi Baba coming, or even Satya Sai Baba coming in a line, and I'm serving them the food. So initially, in one of the dreams, it was only Baba himself. In another dream, it was Baba with family and children. In the third, like that. So I never could relate this because there is no such scenario in UK, because UK is government, and people, it's a, they, they're not homeless or anything because the government pays for them, it's all subsidized. So it was when we migrated to USA, there's one person I saw, and that face I remembered, and this lady happened to be at the Balimit Center, and she was the, Miss Hema Ben Patel. So I remembered working with that in the dream. So I just went there, and I started going to the centers, and then they said, we want to do Nayan Seva. So we started a major Nayan Seva in Trenton, New Jersey. And so I saw that workstation, all that, I was in that dream. So I started relating to that. So I'm looking for Swami. Obviously, Swami in his physical form would not be there, Shirdi Baba in it. So then I began to see that Swami in a different form coming up. So like there were people coming with families, and started seeing Swami in them. So basically, that way, we started the Nayan Seva on a regular basis, and then also, looking for Swami in people. So it's like you're serving Swami. So he made that part very easy for me. I didn't have to, it just automatically flowed through the, that as I was serving Swami. That's the feeling I had. So that's how we started, and then we started helping out in the retreats. And at the center, initially, we from 80s till 86, 87, we started helping with the annual retreats. But then in 85, I became the president of Balamit Center. So I happened to attend in 1987, one of the meeting. At that time, Hal Honig was the president of our region. So what had happened was that they said no more retreats, and we are, so the reason was that there was food poisoning, and they decided to, because of the litigation fears, they decided no more retreats. So in the meeting, I happened to say, I can't believe we are not having retreat. And all of a sudden, everybody's looking at me, and I don't know why when I blurted something like that, it's very uncharacteristic. And, the words oozed out of my mouth. And suddenly they all looked at me and said, you do it. You do the retreat. My God, and somehow I said, yes, okay, I will do it. It's not, we cannot, it's not acceptable that we don't have a retreat, I mean, that was the gung-ho feeling. And you won't believe, so the 88th, and the theme we kept Seva. And, as Swami has said, give me your availability, I will give you the ability. Now, I'm a totally clueless person, but somehow the help came in. And you won't believe the first flyer. The reason I remember all this, because I'm now shredding a lot of my documentation and all this, all the years I collected a lot of this. I'm a paper junkie, so I'm disposing that. And I was just seeing that. And I could not believe in that 88, the flyer for bhajans, Rajendra Gayal, for Seva, contact Rajendra Gayal, for registration mailed to Rajendra Gal. Somebody might be thinking, if I look at this, you know, you might think that I must be on a really heavy duty ego trip, you know, here, you know. So, you know, but somehow my daughter stepped in until she was in her teenage years, and she started, we started getting a lot of calls after we sent out the flyers and all that. And she would make the columns and start registering and all that. And some folks, you know, help from different directions started coming. And that amazed me, because now I knew that Swami was giving the ability, he was coordinating everything. So, and ever since, for almost, I think, more than 35, 36 years, I never missed a retreat. Only this year when I went to Tacloban in 2014, when I went to Tacloban, that's when I missed retreats for a couple of years, you know, 2014 and 2015. So, but that's how it has, you know, evolved, you know. And the retreat has been one of the main activity that has pulled us all together. In fact, the growth was so fantastic. In the previous years, you know, we used to get more than just about 150 people. When I started, and the whole momentum, we had 300. And at that time, we also used to have Region 1 and Region 2 combined. But in 91, we went all separate ways. And our numbers started growing. And when I became the regional president in 1996, you know, the number was like about 600, 700. And our numbers now, they're about 800, 900, 1,000. So, you know, this kind of, so it involves step by step, very methodical, you know, and Balu can, you know, understand, you know, that how we coordinate the retreat. So that whole structure, Swami made as an instrument, and he you know, deployed that. So over to you.
That's amazing, Uncle. I was really touched by, you know, so many things that you've shared, especially the dream that you're talking about, where I think you were saying that Swami was coming in the line and taking food from you. And it's such a symbolic and a powerful moment where he's actually reminding us that he is actually present in every person. So I wanted to ask you, like, you know, you had so many interactions with Swami. Did he give you any specific instructions on, you know, how a Sai center should be set up, or any other guidance that he had given, or how a seva activity should be run?
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
So, you know, this is a 1975 interview. Now, one thing I'll tell you, in that interview, it was it's like basically the start of transformation. Swami, you know, called the UK group after the World Conference was over. So about 30 of us, we managed to fit into their room. Somehow he focused on me, and he ripped me apart. Okay, I mean, totally devastated, you know. And he's, you know, so he started, what kind of friends you have? And I'm like shocked, you know, in a sudden question like that. So he said, well, you help your friends. This is in the college. And at that time I was doing PhD studies, you know, research studies. So what used to happen is that, you know, a lot of Indian students, they come to do research and all that. So, and some of these students come from elite universities from India to do, you know, PhD research studies. So I used to help them. So my parents, you know, they had my father had a wholesale textile business, and my mother had a retail. So I used to drop my father off, and I had our station wagon, you know, I used to take that. So many times I would help my these colleagues or friends move from one place to the other, or if they come at the airport, go to pick them up, take them, you know, where they are going to stay and all that. So many times I used to be late. So what happened? Swami picked on that, and I, only God and I knew that what was happening. So Swami said, you help your friends. What kind of friends are? They're talking behind your back, making fun of you. And I was totally startled. And he says, what's worse is that you help them, you get late. And what do? You tell all lies to your father. And he repeated everything I said. And I totally floored, because only God can know this. This is something very personal. Nobody knew that. And I was telling all these lies to my parents, and he was not happy at all. He says, Swami just told her, no, you cannot do that. You have to respect your parents. Never tell any lies. He focused so much on parents. You have to seek their permission. You have to respect them, help them, never lie. All this he kept on repeating, and also always serve your parents. So do anything with their approval. So I had 4 interviews, and in 3 interviews, that's what he did. He stressed upon parents, taking care of your parents. And as it turned out, both my mother and father, they stayed with me. We are 5 brothers and sisters, but they just stayed with me. And so till we took care of, that's one seva. We, starting with family, which Swami again guided through, that the family seva comes first, So that's how that was. So that was on for me personally. But what he did was he suddenly he said, you love your sisters? And said, yes. Says, all these women in this world, you love them as your sisters. Treat them with respect, dignity, and love. So that was a very, strong, pivotal statement. And that really changed my outlook, because I was still in my mid-20s. The outlook I had, was different. That really changed. And then he came on to our center. He says, in your center, what time do you start bhajan? So he said, 8 o'clock. So he said, well, I am there, but you are not there. So he said, if you have bhajans at 8 o'clock, you should start at 8 o'clock. Very, very firm, it was no nonsense, type of scenario. And then he said, the men and women talk to each other. So that's not good, he says. After the bhajans, once men and women start talking to each other, the divine vibrations come back to me. And then the other thing was, let me look at this. There's one point I want to remind. The Bal Vikas says the teachers are spanking the children. And I was even more startled with that. I said, he knows what's going on at our center. So I said, only treat children with love. Then he told me, you start the Balvikas, you conduct Balvikas. Then, go for some time, and then said, start training the teachers. Then he made a remark, which I really liked. He says, look, train women to be the teachers, because women have the motherly love, and they will take over the Balvikas program. So that's how it had started. And even with the darshan, he had said, after darshan, you go straight to your room or an isolated spot. If you start talking, then all the energy and those vibrations come back to me. So it's a very important thing. Now, that was for Bolton, at that time. But then when I came to USA, it's same thing applied. So, it's like a social gathering, after the bhajans, people, and he doesn't want that. So whenever I became the president, I implemented this discipline that as soon as the bhajans are over, people go straight home, and take those divine vibrations with you. So those were some of the things he had said. So
Brother Gopal, you had a question?
Yeah. Sairam uncle, it's wonderful to know that you have been involved with the SSC service, bhajans, almost all the wings you went based on the Swami's guidance. And I know you have been involved with the disaster recovery team for a while. Can you please share some of your experiences with the disaster recovery team? What made you to go that route, and what kind of energy and guidance you received from Bhagavan?
See, disaster relief, the guidance from Bhagwan, actually, he has given a wonderful, actually, we had made a video clip. Swami started a disaster relief program back in 1977. And then, see, with a typical example, earthquake in Gujarat, 50 trucks worth of all food items, clothing, everything, with Sai devotees from Hyderabad and other areas. They went there and they personally served of the victims there. So then again, when we had this floods in Orissa and then the tsunami, in Tamil Nadu, so he had already set this training program, and the Sai Sevadal folks, so their program is called disaster management. So they go through this official and formal training. And like typically, when we had this tsunami, the Sai volunteers were there. They were the first ones to be there. They were the first responders. So already that program has started, and we were, gradually the international disaster relief started picking up because of the various disaster, all over the place. The way I got started, with a lot of determination and commitment, was when Hurricane Sandy came here, and we were in the eye of Hurricane Sandy, and so at that time, what had happened was just typically the peak hour, we decided, we'll sing bhajans. So for I said, if I go, I want to go in a style, and I'm going to sing bhajans. That's how I really looked at it at that time. So we sang bhajans, and so in our shrine, we have Swami's picture, we also Durga Ma. So all of a sudden, with my eyes open, I see Durga Ma in his Mahishasur Mardini form, killing the Rakshas, the ogre, with a trident. And after good vibration, we had very good vibration with the bhajans and all that. So after that, we were saved. We were in the eye of the hurricane. Nothing happened to us. So then, logically, we stepped out of the house, started looking that if there was any damage or destruction around. So within about half a mile radius, we were all there's nothing. But after that, there was so much destruction. All the trees, the light poles, the wires, everything. Some of the trees falling on the houses and all that. The roofs have gone, and so I could not believe my luck. And from there on, I decided, I'm going to devote my time on the, disaster relief. And then, as it turned out, with our Santa, we were the first ones to start serving hot meal. And I was actually the president of East Brunswick Center at that time. So we started this program, collected items, and serve hot food and all that. So we served, in fact, something like 1,000 meals, hot meals in Newark area, in the shore points and all that. But the one that really touched me was within a week or so, I went to the coastal area. There's all this military and all these people, with a big fractures and all that. I somehow managed to go in there. And what I saw on the coastal line was that the houses were flattened, or they had shifted, or so much damage. And I really pulled my car. I started crying very loudly. So for like 5-10 minutes, I could not stop myself. I just felt that pain, so much destruction, so much devastation. People displaced and all that. So that kind of, for me, was the starting point. And after that, we dedicated our time, so that's how we got started. Now, with regards to disaster relief, we have quite a few experiences. In fact, almost every the disaster relief, the ones I really participated. So I went to Haiti. Then I went. That was for 1 week, and the focus there was medical camp, medical seva. That actually trip was full of miracles and divine and Sai experiences. Then the Hurricane Sandy. Then also the one I went to was Tacloban. I went 2014. I went there for 2 months. The first time, and the second time I went for 3 months. And then I also went to Ecuador. And then last year I went to Grand Bahamas. So, this is where a lot of miracles had happened. I can share, say, for Haiti. Okay, so some of the things that really happened was by His grace, we were allowed. We were a team of 4 people going from New York, New Jersey area, and by Swami's grace, we were allowed to take 5 suitcases of medical supplies and clothing and all that. So 4 of us, we had 20, and somebody then at the last minute donated a very big box of all the T-shirts with walk for values T-shirts, and as we said, we'll try. So at the airport, we as we were going through all this, somehow my son Jai Sai managed to. He had gone on an earlier trip, so he was explaining everything that happened to the to the check-in clerk, and she was so overwhelmed with the entire seva thing. So not only she allowed the 21st box to go through that, but one of our Sai brother got lost in the parking lot. So what happened? We checked his luggage, but he did not check in, his passport details and all that. So over the phone, 8 o'clock is our flight. 5 to 8, he is checking in, at the airport. So he gives all the passport details and all that. And as soon as he came in, right, she rushed us. She told us, came through the security check with us. We went through that, we were just the VIP. She got a golf cart. All 4 of us sat in the golf cart with our hand luggage. We had a lot of hand luggage, those 21 boxes and that. And then she came all the way to the the departing gate, and we were past the 8 o'clock mark, so we were the last one to sit in. And as soon as we sat, within 2-3 minutes, the plane started moving up. So it started all the way. But the one experience I remember most was my duty was to check. First, we did all the inventory of medications and all that. So, on the first couple of days when we went there, and when we started actually the medical camp, So we had all these doctors, they check patients, prescribe, they come to pharmacy, the pharmacists give, the medicine with their prescription. And I was the last person in that line, where I would check the prescription as well as the medicine. So one particular lady, she came and I used to tell them, smile, that look, it was a courtesy, so I tried to make them smile. So one person, very like good, it looked like she's a good family and all that, She came in and I said, smile. And then she straight away said, what is there to smile? Says, I lost everything. I lost my family. I lost my house. And I'm on the street, on open street, I'm sleeping, I cannot even go in and get a tent. So then, luckily, we had one, actually in our group, psychiatrist, she had a tent. So I said, why don't you go and see that psychiatrist there? She has, she will help you. Because I didn't know that at that time she had a tent, but I thought because of the psychological, she was distraught, in a very traumatic look on her face. So she went to the psychiatrist. So two of them worked with that and made her comfortable and all that. Fortunately, the psychiatrist had a tent, so she gave her the tent. And that brought the smile on her. And, boy, when I saw her, she looked at me, there was a smile on her face. And that to me meant so much, that because we connected, and that's what Swami had said, love, that love, and show them that we care about them. And so that was really very significant event for me. So I don't know if you want me to continue with other, I can, at least mention something quickly for each. All right, so from there, Tacloban, 2014, basically, so I was the anchor person. And there, we met some very drastic cases. The people, actually, one whole entire Muslim community in Tacloban got wiped out. Just about a handful, maybe 7-8 people survived. And that too, they survived by hanging on the telephone wires. They explained all that to us. So we went there, and fortunately for there's the UK group that had come earlier. There's one Muslim doctor, so he had some money, and so I got that money, and we went there. To give them. So this is what they were explaining to us. So and then on behalf of SSIO also, we gave the community some money, and they were living in like a shed. They all had lost everything. So that really touched me, because Muslim community, no matter who they are, when you see that a community like that is wiped out, you feel very sad. So then in 2015, when I went there, we had again numerous special Swami. One of the things we did was anybody who comes for help, seeking help, I would never say no. So one school, they came, they wanted to, the government had passed a law saying that those who are poor families, the schools are supposed to provide them meals. So somebody told that, this SSIO is providing help. So they came, so they talked to me and said, look, come with a proposal. What is it that you're looking for? What I will do is I'll pass it to our senior management, and if they approve, then we'll go from there. So they came up with like 600,000 pesos, huge amount by their means, So I said, look, this is not going to be approved, it has to be a very smaller budget. So we started, and like all these projects, one of the things, one of the habit I have is I take that, put it in Swami's picture, and pray to Swami, to guide us to take care of all this, and we want to make sure that nobody is disappointed. Anybody who comes at our door for help, we want to help them, So a couple of days later, the person, the principal, contacted me. I said, look, can you do me a favor? Revise this, the whole architecture plan, and come with, see how much you can reduce. So they came back with a revised plan, and then, I said, look, what I will do is I will not give you any money or anything like that. But what I will do is I'll buy all the construction material for you. And then you have to see, again, they have within their community, they have to find somebody who will build. So all the construction folks, the builders and all that. So somehow we found them, they took initiative on that. And within, I think, less than 100,000, we were able to build the kitchen for them, and also a special dining area for the teachers, in fact, So we provided all the material for that. So the other event was, another school. They wanted, it was in a ghetto area. So they had these glass windows, and people can, they can easily come into the classrooms, and still they had a lot of, equipment, some of them computers and various other things. They would steal them. So they wanted a grill, the iron grill, outside the window. So again, same scenario. So the first time, they gave us all the requests. So we said, okay, what are the important things you do? And then they also wanted us to pay for the labor and all that. I said, look, what we'll do is labor you have to find from your local community, because we cannot give you money on that. Because if you give them money, it gets spent, on other things. So what we did was, with the guy and our SSIO home assistant, we went to a hardware store. We gave our list. I said, this is what we want. And so the man, he was because he was also, he had lost a lot of stuff, in his, he's a wholesaler and a very, very big guy, in the business world. So I gave him the list. So he says, look, and I told him, look, that please give us some sort of discount. We are, NGO, SSIO organization and all that. So he said, I'll give you this, and I'll give you some, I think it's a 20 or 30% discount. He said, I'll give you a discount, provided you buy everything now and pay, and then you take it with it. So I said, well, I don't think I had that kind of money. The amount came to about 10,000 pesos. So I said, I have about 1/3 of, my gas was in my pocket, because I didn't know how much money I had in my pocket. So when we just took this trip on the fly, without any checkbook or this or that, nothing. So there was on the counter, and said, look, okay, we'll see how much money I have. So I emptied all my pockets, and the assistant, she helped, aligning all the notes, like $10, all the tens and all the ones and all the fives and all these bills, so we were stacking them. And you won't believe, right? After everything was emptied out, and I just we totaled the whole amount, and it came to exactly the amount on the invoice, except there's a little bit more for us to get back home. We could not even buy anything to eat or anything like that, just straight away go home. And to me, it was a clear-cut example of how Swami is running the show there. We think we are the doer, but actually he's the one who's doing all these things. We just have to make that effort. A typical example, another with Hurricane Sandy. Then I'll share that. So my house was the hub for receiving all the supplies because I live closer. On the side, one of the site devotees living closer to the shore points, where all this disaster along the coastal area of New Jersey had happened. So first 3 months, we used to with 2 minivans. My wife and I, we would go and deliver to all these places along the coastal line from Atlantic City all the way to Staten Island. So we through either word of mouth or through surfing the web, find out all these shelters and all the areas, the food pantries and food banks, and deliver all this. Everything we received, and the typical things were we received food items, toiletry kits, blazers. Actually, we received blankets. So much of that, and it just kept pouring in. So fortunately, somehow we found the right place. So then later on, as things kind of eased a little bit, still I had received a lot of supplies. So one time, on one Wednesday evening, I loaded my minivan, totally filled up to the brim. And but I wanted to make sure that I deliver this stuff at the place where there's a need for it. So I had the habit of, like, in the morning, with my heart, saying, Swami, where are we going? I mean, from heart to heart, saying, Swami, where are we going? You guide. So on that Thursday morning, in the dream, and Swami and Durga Ma in our shrine. So I am in front of the shrine. All of a sudden, Jesus Christ walks out of the wall. He is walking towards me, and about a couple of feet in front of me, he made a turn to my right, which was pointing to the east, the shore points. So, and I said, okay, maybe that I had to go in that direction. And then as I'm looking, and he disappeared. So for me, the clue was to go east. But then I was thinking more rationally. Said, wait a minute, that face, looks familiar. So as it turned out, that I recollected that place called Visitation Shelter. They had it's a visitation church. They had started this shelter center. So I worked quite a lot with them, and so I remember this face was exactly on a calendar in the manager's office. The manager's name was Christine Winters. So I said, okay, that's where I'm going to deliver. So as soon as I went there, all the volunteers, all the staff there, they were so happy, like blissful. They all hugged me, kissed my cheeks and stuff like that. And I said, wait a minute, So they said, you don't know what you've done, I said, what did I do, But then I said, okay, but Christine wants to see you. So I went to Christine's office and so tried to explain to Christine. I said, Christine, this is how Jesus Christ, our Sai Baba in the form of Jesus Christ, guided me to bring these things. So Rajan, he said, you don't know what you've done. I said, what have I done? So he said, look, this was Thursday. On Tuesday, we were supposed to get food supplies from the food bank. We didn't get anything. You can see, and I saw actually all the shelves were empty. Maybe you might find one tin or two, a couple of cans of the stuff, but it was all empty, right? So he said, I have more than 4,000 families, displaced families. I need to serve them. I need to give them something. You know, and I tell you, it was very emotional. They were very appreciative. You know that, you know, so this is what Swami has done. You know, he makes a difference, and this is how he guided. So to me, it is also this drove a point that, you know, look, I might be in my ego that I'm doing this, that, you know, but it's not. You know, we just have to put the effort. But Swami does everything. You know, he does even this planning. He does it. So, you know, that was, remarkable. I'm really, I always try to say, when we take this Seva projects, now I have gone into habit is that how Swami helps out, you know. And so I'll just finish with one more, you know, this is, we did the Narayan Seva, the Samadhi Day, you know, and the birthday celebration. So after Swami passed in 2011, so this is when again I was the president of East Brunswick Center. So what we decided, you know, people they do Narayan Seva, you know, tray of pasta, this, that, you know. So it's all of convenience, you know, and they do things out of their comfort zone, you know. So I said, no, what we want to do is let all New Jersey centers get together and serve all the shelters in a big way. So we said, okay, we'll do a 1,000 meal project. And so we started planning, you know, had a conference call with the various, we have about 12 centers in New Jersey. So send out, you know, the email to all of them, inviting to conference call, and we plan things out. But always, you know, because it's the first time you're doing, so there's a lot of tension and sleepless night and all that, you know, because you don't know how all this is going to work out. Because 1,000 meals is not a joke, you know, it's a big planning. So we found out the facility, Kitty Campbell in Edison. They, the kitchen, they would allow us to cook there for 1,000 meals. So we found out the meal, you know, the menu. You know, typically Mexican rice, chili, pasta, and salad item, a butter roll, you know, and then a banana and a water bottle. So those were the sort of items we did. So between all the participating centers, we distributed, you know, what they can bring. And so we thought, okay, let's see. At the you know, the kitchen, you know, you won't believe, more than 100 volunteers turned up, you know. So, and this time it happened to be 2011. It was Swami's birthday. That was the first event. So in the morning we did all the exquisite planning and all that. Everything. So we had the vegetable cutters, the cooker, all the chefs doing cooking, folks cleaning all the utensils. Then on the other side, you know, we had people in assembly line packing food in trays, boxes, you know, wrapping knife, fork, spoon in paper towel, and you know, so all assembly line concept. So everybody, we got them involved. You know, they all worked very enthusiastically. And then what happened was in the evening, so that went very well. We had also people transporting goods. So we identified about 10, 12 shelters. We had prepared meals for more than 1,200 people. And as soon as the transportation people came in, some of them distributed themselves. Somebody, they just take it to a shelter, and the shelter would do the distribution of the food and all that. So in that way, everything worked out very well, you know. So that Swami took care of it, you know. I mean, it just because we were so much in, there's an uncertainty here that, you know, everything flows quick, very smoothly on that day. So in the evening, there was Swami's birthday celebrations at the same place. So between Edison and East Brunswick centers, you know, we organized the you know, bhajans and the program and all that. So after the culture program and after all that event was over, around about, it must be about 9 o'clock or so. It was getting, a little late. So at night, 9 o'clock. So we are serving food also. All the devotees, must be 400, 500 people came there. They all queued in line, try to get prasad. So, what we do is normally, we start cleaning up, folding the sheets and all that. So one man came in, it must be in his about 50s, 60s. He came in with a small son, and this boy, so this man, skin color exactly like Swami, face structure rectangular just like Swami. The only difference was Swami had curly hairs, he didn't. And he all of a sudden, he's telling me what I did through the day. So he's telling me in the morning, you did this planning, you took care of that, plan here, all these details he's going through. And then he said, you helped putting up this beautiful program and all that. And I said, well, Swami takes care of it. I'm like that. Very, never clicked to me who that person might be. I never saw him before. Even now, I have never seen him. Recollecting, So even the boy, so because he was with a boy, so that was kind of misleading. So then, the event was over. Next day morning, as I'm waking up, he's really hit me hard. Oh, that was Swami. He came to see, Oh my God, and that's why he says, the meaning, Baba, be aware, be alert, because you don't know in what form he's going to come to you. See, now, because I tell people, I said, before Swami, in his physical frame, he was in Puttaparthi. But after, that the physical form is gone, he's in our hearts. He's in everyone's hearts. So I think that's how we have to relate. And so this was one of the typical example of, how Swami, through those seva activities, he comes. And I like watching this, how Swami does all things. We just have to put the effort. That's all, Over to you.
Sairam uncle, it's really amazing. Swami has transformed you and make you aware he is the doer, not our own ego. That's a wonderful transformation I can hear from your experiences. Only one question I have about the CERT, if you can briefly explain that how it is important for our organization, that will motivate each and every members of the Sai organization in our region.
So, see, CERT is basically Community Emergency Relief team, So, whenever you go for seva, this is like for typically disaster relief seva, they ask for this certificate. Now, it's very simple. It's less than 20 hours of training, so there's basic version and there is the advanced version. Basic version, you basically help out the people, So let me give an example. If there's a fire, right, we don't put out the fire. Professionals do that. But suppose there was a family there. Now this family has got now displaced. So this is where we step in. And what we do is typically help them up, and our specialty is in food coordination, or we might find accommodation for them and all that. So this is where, so why you need to start there? Because they will not allow you near that area. Not only that, but typical examples, say Hurricane Florence. So, they will not allow to go onto the front line. So if you have a certificate, then at least you can help the local authorities. They look for that. The army or even all the governmental officials, they look for this, and very simple to get, and we don't do anything sophisticated. So the typical seva, and I happened to attend one of these the lessons learned meeting with this Hurricane Florence, and what they were saying was their biggest problem was communication. So this is where we can help out. So there's communication. So like for instance, there are folks, there's a family, they have to go to a shelter site, and there's a panic mode, total panic mode. Everybody's in a panic mode. So sign mode is what they can do is guide them, which direction to go to. Then serve them with water. If there is food, you can do that. Then at shelter itself, you can help out, because at the shelter, they have computers, and there are people, you give them accommodation, you give them food, you pacify them, shower a lot of sign love to them. And, they all want to find out what's going on in the world. So their concern is, immediate concern is family, what is the rest of the family doing, all that. So with this help of the computer or even telephone, calls, you get that information. You contact, various authorities, So these are all simple, doable things. But the cert is this certificate cert is necessary, and so with cert, it's very basic, simple things we have to do. And one of the things I can tell you that it's a very simple program where they train you various facets, say 2 hours each. So there are like 8 or 10 modules, and 2 hours each. So after that, completing that, you get to do this kind of seva. So the other important factor is that see, we are doing seva because it's convenient, comfortable. But Swami wants to seek out the needy. He has said it so many times. You go out there, seek out the needy, and this is where the need is, because this is a time. If you can wipe tears from somebody's eyes, this is really one of the best sevas, and this is how you do it. Because people are totally, it is chaos, and they need some people to guide them. So that's one of the things you can do. And I know there's our title is Seva is for all, and no restrictions. So the youth, we can motivate the youth by setting an example. See, in my family, all my children, my wife, my brothers, my sisters, they all, just through my example, they get motivated. And not only that, see, I'll give you an example. You have sent a bhajan meeting, right? If you, after the bhajans are over, if you start talking, you'll normally find everybody's talking. But if you start, folding the bed sheets, and cleaning up, rolling the wires, and do some activity like that, other people, when they see you, they start helping out. So many times, like there's a bed sheet, I'm folding. So uncle, I'll do it. You do something else. So what I do is I go and do something, wire. So somebody wants to come and help me. So like that, this is how you motivate, because through your own example, and for senior citizens, many times they say, oh well, I'm old, and how can I help and all that. Well, there are a couple of various ways of doing it, and at least I'll mention 2 ways. One is, say for Grand Bahamas, we had a food drive and all that, so we give you the links for purchasing items. So you go, and if you're motivated, you purchase items and ship them directly. Typically, what we've been doing, we send to West Palm Beach. I know some of you are involved in all that. So, so this is something you can do from your house. But the other thing you can do, and this is something I really learned from my mother. So her 60s and 70s, her focus was she would be in most of the time she would be in the shrine room, either reading, singing stotras, or doing japamala and stuff like this. So I had actually, and Swami gave me an opportunity to spend 3 weeks of quality time with her, and I just happened to ask her. I said, "Mom, why are you doing all this? Just enjoy your life. Everybody's treating you like a princess. Be happy and all that." And she told me something that really touched me, and she said that, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing it for you. So it's for me, yeah, because you are involved in coordinating so many seva activities. The retreats, and various other Nayan seva and other seva activities. So what I do is pray to Swami or pray to Ma that to take care of you, guide you, guard you, protect you, and so that you are successful in your endeavors. And I think this is what we need to do as seniors. Now the youth has come, we pass on the baton, and we pray for the youth. Where there is possible, we can guide them, we guide them. But we pray for them. So this is the seva they can do. Okay, thank you. I really took you a lot of time, so I am very grateful for this opportunity. I apologize for taking so much time, and yes, hopefully we all can do seva together and connect again. So Sairam, thank you very much.
Sairam uncle, this is really, I would say the blissful day for three of us, I can tell you. But I hope that you gave, I was taking notes, literally every point you are making. You started at the young age as a seed of seva. Okay. Now, I think I can tell you, we here, that big tree is grown, that seed is become big tree. From there, every fruits we are enjoying today. I can tell you how to even look for an opportunity. I think the one example you told is, even though in darshan we know that Swami is going to come anytime, you have to be careful, watchful, anything. But you took a courage to do. People are coughing, but you didn't stop there. You wanted to give them some. That's something I think I as a group SSC for teach. I always tell my dear, listen, look for an opportunity, never miss it. I think you perfectly said that there is no doubt. And second thing is, I witnessed myself, you uncle, at the medical camp 2 years ago. Both, you don't believe, uncle and auntie both were there early morning. You know what it said to me? I think you said here, at what time your center start? 8 a.m. I am there, but you are not there. I think Swami is also, when he says 6:30, our medical camp starts. I can tell you, as uncle can tell in Parthi especially, the visitors will wait early morning line because they do sugar test and everything. I see that both of them were sitting fresh. I learned right there, and the next day onwards I was there too, because I want to make sure that these are the learnings we learn from these elders. I think that was Swami is teaching us, definitely. And then I know you touched upon various, especially this experience towards the help in the retreats. One thing I want to tell you is, always I never miss a retreat either, because the reason is I can see the brothers and sisters, especially the family, can meet each other and know each other. That's the main thing. I think that one lessons I think you pointed upon is very valid. There is no doubt, right? And then I think last couple of satsangs we heard the same quote. I think you brought again. Give me your availability, and I will make use of that. The I means I'm talking about Swami here, and he will use in every way, because that's what. But we need to make sure that available for ourselves. I think that's something is always. And then thank you so much for bringing the importance of the SSC teachers. I think that's something, how he told in interviews and what is supposed to be. I think it's a very valid point. We can't just give up. And then I know always happens, right? Once the bhajan is done, we won't leave. We felt like we never met this uncle and artist, this brother and sister. We socialize, talk, and all the things. I think this is from once they heard everybody. I think the one point we need to take home is the never socialize. Take the energy, take the vibrations, go home and preserve. That's what the starting point. That's for the vitamins we need to have. So I can keep on going, uncle. I wrote a lot of things, and the one thing I want to tell you is the be aware and be alert. Doesn't matter whatever it is. I think that's something we always keep in mind. I think we are all going to pray to Swami to give you more strength and power to do his seva, and that's something we wanted to humbly ask Swami to give you that strength. Thank you so much again one more time. With that note, we are ending this satsang. Next session for today is the devotional singing sessions. Thank you. Sai Ram.
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।
जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगल मूर्ति मोरया। सिद्धि विनायका मंगलदाता सिद्धि विनायका अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिंदूर बदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर बदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर बदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति सिंदूर बदना पंकज चरण मंगलमूर्ति मोरया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिंदूर बदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर बदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया जय गणराया श्री गणराया
पत्तीश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा पत्तीश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा दया करो दया करो साई नारायणा श्री साई नारायणा साई श्री साई नारायणा भवसागरोद्धार भुवना बना साईश्वरा दया करो हरि नारायणा दया करो साई नारायणा श्री साई नारायणा साई श्री साई नारायणा भवसागरोद्धार भुवनावना शरणागत त्राण नारायणा दया करो हरि नारायणा करो हरि नारायणा श्री साई नारायणा साई श्री साई नारायणा सत्येश्वरा सत्य साईश्वरा
चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः 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 चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव
Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Hearken, hearken, hearken to the whisper of my soul. Hearken, hearken, hearken to the whisper of my soul. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Oh, I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Take me, take me, take me, my Lord, in thy love. Take me, take me, take me, my Lord, in thy love. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Hearken, hearken, hearken to the whisper of my soul. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Hearken, hearken, hearken to the whisper of my soul. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Take me, take me, take me, my Lord, in thy love. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Oh, I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song.
साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो महादेव बोलो महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो नाम बोलो राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई 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 बोलो सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु 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 साई बोलो अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला 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 साई बोलो प्रेम साई शांति दाई सत्य 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 साई बोलो साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो नाम बोलो महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो महादेव बोलो जय पांडुरंग बोलो साई नाम बोलो गोविंद नाम बोलो नाम बोलो राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई बोलो राम कृष्ण बोलो जय बुद्ध साई बोलो सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु साई बोलो सौराष्ट्र महावीर येशु साई बोलो अल्लाह साई बोलो मौला 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 साई बोलो प्रेम साई शांति दाई सत्य 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 साई बोलो गोविंद बोलो गोपाल 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 बोलो प्रेम साई शांति दाई सत्य साई बोलो
दत्ता गुरु दत्तात्रेय गुरु दत्ता गुरु दत्तात्रेय गुरु साई नाथ दीनानाथ ब्रह्म रूप गुरु साई नाथ दीना चंद्र के दूता हनुमंत आंजनेय प्रभु रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंत आंजनेय हनुमंत 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 आंजनेय हनुमंत 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 आंजनेय हे पवन पुत्र हनुमंत बलभीम आंजनेय हे पवन पुत्र हनुमंत बलभीम आंजनेय हे पवन पुत्र हनुमंत बलभीम आंजनेय बलभीम 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 आंजनेय बलभीम 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 आंजनेय प्रभु रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंत आंजनेय हनुमंत 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 आंजनेय हे पवन पुत्र हनुमंत बलभीम आंजनेय बलभीम 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 आंजनेय बलभीम 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 आंजनेय प्रभु रामचंद्र के दूता हनुमंत आंजनेय
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्ति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशि वदना श्री शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् अशीमवहु वहिष्ठेमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टाहमय यतशाय वहिष्ठायशि नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि श्मा इस्राएल अदोनाय एलोहेनु अदोनाय एहाद अदोनाय एहाद Adonai Echad. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति 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 परमं पवित्रं भावाविभूति परमं विचित्रं लीलाविभूति आत्मैष्टार्थमो
Sairam. Thought for the week. Service has become a word of common currency, but its value is very much reduced by the hypocrisy of the users. Really speaking, only those who are afflicted with agony at the sight of pain and suffering, distress, or disease have the right to offer service. For they are not serving others, they are serving themselves, serving to remove as quickly and as intelligently as they can their own agony. Service to others is the medicine one needs for oneself to alleviate the distress which fills one at the sight of distress in another being. Feel that you are serving yourself, that you are curbing your own ego. Otherwise, service heightens your self-esteem and develops a sense of superiority, which are both harmful spiritually. Divine Discourse, April 21st, 1967. Baba.